Hello, and welcome to PremiumBytes, where we shine a light on the unsung world of insurance technology leaders. I am Sudhar Krishnamachari, one of your co-hosts, and with Samir Ahmed, our other co-host, we're here to have meaningful conversations about the evolving technology landscape inside the insurance industry. Let's acknowledge it. Being an insurance firm CIO or Chief Information Officer is one of the toughest leadership roles in today's world. You've got a risk-averse mindset baked into the very fabric of the industry, a legacy estate that must complement the modern tech, and a talent crisis from both the retiring side and next-gen recruiting side. And then you got the slower pace of innovation. We see it because we're right there in the trenches with you as consultants day in and day out. Our mission is to deep dive, have conversations that carry substance, offer practical insights, and help you validate and navigate the relevant challenges of being an effective CIO in the insurance sector. So thank you for joining us on this adventure. Let's jump right into our next conversation. Hey, welcome back, Samir.
Hey, welcome back, Sudhar. Been a bit since we've done a you and I episode. We did a few interviews last few episodes, but here we are.
That's right. That's right. I think it's the end of the year recording for us. We'll try to get this out before the end of the year, but it's been a phenomenal journey for us. I think we just wrapped up an episode on the recap as well, which was somewhat rewarding to see what we have accomplished, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Starting out back in what was it, 2023, August of 23.
October, August. I think we did Genesis. I think the first was out on October. Yeah.
Yeah. So a couple years, 30 episodes, right? I wasn't sure where we'd land when we started, to be very candid, but I'm very happy with where
Then
we
I've
are and
way.
enjoyed doing all of this with you.
Yeah. Yeah, even the first discussion we had about this was like, okay, how is he going to react to it versus, will we do 30 episodes? So, very very thankful, as we said in the recap episode. But without further ado, I wanted to give some context on this episode. So both Samir and I were at the ITC InsureTech Connect in Vegas earlier this year. Many of you were there as well. I think we had a chance to connect with several of you in the carrier community as well as in the InsureTech community. And both Samir and I felt like, obviously, every year it's been growing, and the broker corridors were a lot more buzzing. In fact, traditional agents and brokers were actually very active, besides the broker tech community. So Samir and I also had a chance to see if we can experiment with a few, on the spot live recording at ITC. And I'll let you speak to it. I know you had a chance to meet with three of our guests, right, Samir?
Yeah, that's right. That was new and different this year. Typically, I've attended as a tech professional in insurance. This year, I attended as a host of Premium Bytes, and very grateful to get time from David Embry at Milo and Nafan from Bolt, and then we had MGT Insurance on as well. So that was exciting.
Yeah. I think this idea of talking about broker tech has been there in our list of topics, as far as I remember, but it just convoluted into okay. There's a need to think through this because we have back to back guests who seem super excited about this, and then Samir and I did some research. And I think what we figured was, we could certainly talk through it, but this spectrum of broker tech was both complex, fragmented, and even varied. That we thought that maybe this is an opportunity for us to not just talk through it, but also produce a very succinct 1 or 2 page. I'm going to call it as a landscape report. By no means, we're trying to mirror a Forrest or a Gartner or anything like that. But it does seem like there's nothing that exists that is succinct, and so we thought we'll create a report and In this episode, we'll kind of talk through that and provide some color. But our hope is that you will find this 1 or 2 page report very beneficial as you kind of work through with your internal and external colleagues and partners when they call on asking you questions about the broker tech space. Perhaps this will become a reference point. Samir, your perspective on this will add more color to it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's sort of surprising, right? I wasn't expecting it. I had figured that something like a overview of the market will already be out there, and I think they exist in different forms and subsets, but nothing that gives a bird's eye view to what the overall space is, how to view the different participants in it, and then who the specific players are as well. And by the way, on that front, I think we did not attempt to do an exhaustive job. It's more to provide examples, and who knows, right? Maybe this will at some point grow into something a little bit more comprehensive. And definitely, if you know of companies, or you yourself are one of those companies, reach out, and we'll certainly be open to including what you're offering in next iteration of this, whenever we get to it.
Yeah. In that spirit, without using a an AI in this would be somewhat of a miss on our part. But the way we leveraged it is, we iterated over it. I created a version. Samir created a version, and then we kind of probed, exchanged between us as well as independently with our own prompts. And it's important to note that certainly anyone can get a list of these things in a first prompt. But I think what is evident is that I think a degree of expertise like ours, or you, the audience, yours, when you interact and refine and go deeper, I think what comes out of that exercise is a lot more richer and more comprehensive. And so that's the value that we thought we could deliver back to you, is in a couple of pages, a few hours worth of our intellectual exercise plus, a reference point. So with that, Samir, let's maybe deep dive into the report. I know you're sharing a document. So let me just give you the context of how we structured this. Very simple, straightforward. So what are the different categories of broker tech that exist in the marketplace? And then a brief description of each one. And then we kind of divided it into two objectives, like, what is the relevance of this particular category for a broker tech executive? Imagine you're part of, a Brown and Brown brokerage, and you're a CIO or CTO or a VP of IT in Brown and Brown. What is the relevance of this particular category for you? And then the fourth column is our traditional audience, which is the carrier tech executive, CIOs to CTOs to and middle management leaders managing the portfolio of applications within a carrier. What is the relevance for you? And then the last column is really just a quick hit list of who are the established players and emerging players. And that's the part that was very interesting, because it is becoming very exhaustive. So the sources are different broker tech forums, online places, including ITC's own sources. So that's how we structured it. With that, what Samir and I thought was we'll spend some good quality 1 to 2 minute between Samir and I walking you through and doing a Q&A reactions to the top 4 or 5 important categories that has a huge impact. And then the bottom, probably less of an impact because of, they've been around for a little bit longer than the top categories. Right. So that, I think the first one, Samir, I'm guessing it's the obvious one, the emergence and the explosion of aggregators and marketplaces. On the one end, they've always been there in the traditional form, like the broker themselves is a marketplace and an aggregator. But there are insurtechs, broker techs emerging that brokers themselves are also leveraging. That becomes an explosive category globally. I'll let you react to that, Samir.
Yeah, I think so. Right. This, if you think of it from the evolution standpoint, right, you had the traditional distribution players that were already doing wholesaling and aggregating in some manner,
Right.
but probably the tech iteration one was with the advent of the internet. You start to see websites that were doing aggregation, but they were fairly low tech and not very user friendly and not attractive. And I think in the last 10 or so years, you've started to see the shift into the, let's just call it the 2.0 version of it, right? With API connectivity and real time access and more focus on the carrier's underwriting appetite and guidelines encoded in rather than just bringing some random lead into it for quoting purposes. So I think we're now at the probably the cusp or maybe in the midst of the version 3, which is the AI enablement on top of that, right, to where you not only have APIs, only have rules, but you have intelligence engines embedded into the aggregated marketplaces. So
Yeah.
that's roughly the evolution of it. But let you maybe speak a little bit to what you
Yeah,
found.
I mean, this just again, 25 years ago, we were talking when the internet came. It was like, hey, where's the broker going? Are they going to be disintermediated? I think broker is not going anywhere. Broker tech is emerging and innovating and exploding in many ways. And I think the traditional brokers with the broker tech, I think it's like a newfound opportunity for the brokers to add tremendous value that it puts a little bit of a pressure on the carrier. To be honest, I think the carriers are now scrambling. Where do I belong in this? Do I become a price provider versus a brand and a service provider? But a couple of players on the list are traditional ones like the Policy Genius, even EverQuote, Insurify. But Annuity Genius, I just stumbled on them. I dabble with life insurance and annuities, myself in my spare time. But Annuity Genius is something I've never heard. So I could see that there's a huge opportunity with AI and this market creating new opportunities for that customer facing tech and services.
Yeah, and maybe again, just to reemphasize, right, the identification of players in these spaces. It's not a exact match always because you can look at companies from multiple angles. They probably fit into more than one category. And number two, again, our aim was not to be exhaustive and comprehensive, more just to have some examples of what the category is.
Yeah, and nor an endorsement of any one of these players by any means. So, all right. So with that, let's move on to the second category here. These are somewhat sorted by what we believe is the impact to the carrier. Tech executives in terms of one, you need to know, you need to be aware, and two, you need to figure out a way to embrace and connect with them and take advantage of them. So I guess the traditional quoting and rating tools is the second bucket. I think there's players like the Bold Penguin, you and I were talking about it, and then Fenris, one of our friends is a CEO there. I think these are emerging platforms, and there's more of them coming with the explosion of data and analytics, and now with the LLM-based AI models. I think this is another area that the carriers need to figure out a way to be embedded in it because your quoting and your rating tools needs to be plugged in a tech friendly way. But at the same time, the brokers are having a somewhat of an upper hand, in my opinion, because they're able to now disintermediate a little bit the carrier. But that's where the market is evolving, especially in the commercial space, I would think. Samir, your reactions here.
Yeah, I think so. And, this is not just or even the comparative rater kind of space, right? Although there's a aspect of that, this is more about, again, the evolution of where that has brought us, which is enriching data with third party and external data sources. It is bringing forward some of the rule book for underwriting that the carriers typically have held, and they would provide a decision after business has been submitted. And these tools are now pulling that forward and allowing the distribution folks to actually evaluate business on their end before they even submit it. And a step further than that is, directing the business to the right carrier based on what that carrier's declared appetite is for certain kinds of risk. So all of these, right? They go in this category of quoting and rating tools. So not specifically just the comparisons.
I just want to take a second to call out the interview you did with our friend at Bolt.
Yeah. Bolt, I think, is playing in this space. Milo also is somewhat, playing in this space. Although, again, right, they fall in multiple categories the way we look at
Correct.
it.
I think we
Even
call
Bolt, right? They have aspirations of a marketplace eventually. Um,
so.
Matt,
These categories are blending. I would think, right?
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can check out that interview that Samir did at the ITC, and then kind of moving from that to the third one is the marketing automation and lead gen. We could argue that this is purely one of most important to the brokers and the broker techs. Probably less of an important from a carrier tech perspective. But again, a lot of emerging players. I think this is a hot area with the demographic shift across the globe happening, and more people are natively on their mobile and digital platforms and in social media and other forms of social platforms. I think the marketing and automation lead gen is going to be an interesting space to acquire customers, and the platform that gets I guess the lead at the lowest cost is going to win. Is it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We can debate probably, more than the time allows here, whether cost is in fact the driving criteria. But I would agree, right? This has a heavier tilt for the brokers themselves, less so the carriers. Although we were talking earlier that. There is an opportunity for carriers to get their own brand out there and have a mechanism to drive leads towards their distribution force through their own digital
Yeah.
assets and presence.
Yeah, I think something to keep in mind is that as we go down this document, there's a second section where we are calling out the four subsectors of insurance separately from the categorization of these broker techs in the top table. The reason I bring that up is, as you all think about, like if you are a life or annuity carrier versus a small commercial carrier. I think your broker tech landscape will look different, and some of these categories may be either emerging or becoming more or less important. So something to keep in mind. We'll touch on that, but the point is, I think in acquiring consumers for example, for life insurance or an auto insurance or a home insurance, I think there's more innovation and creativity happening. And then the small business acquisition is its known game. So there's an emergence of broker tech players in those two categories.
Yeah, and maybe just one further add-on, right? That certainly, if as a carrier you have multiple channels, which include your own agent force and maybe some direct to consumer, then this lead generation is very much relevant. It's more if you're on the independent channel, then it's more for the brokers.
Yeah. Moving further down from the marketing and automation, I think we're kind of now going into somewhat what I would think as the traditional categories. CRM, probably not much to add over here, right? Many brokers either have had their own homegrown CRMs, or with the emergence of Salesforce 25 years ago or so, and then a lot of these baby CRMs emerging over the last 15, 20 years. And then now with the again an explosion of very industry specific. If you are in wealth management, there's CRM. If you are in PNC, there's a CRM. If you are into Medicare, there's a CRM for that. So I think there's an emergence of this focused CRM platform players getting embedded into the broker community. And we see a lot of them, I would think, in the InsureTech community, or in the InsureTech Connect at Vegas.
Yeah, definitely. And again, sort of the theme repeats, right? That there's overlap with some of the other categories around data sources, data providers that are leveraged for one purpose. Well, you can also leverage them with your CRM for segmentation, identification of cross sell or upsell opportunities, so forth.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think as a carrier tech executive, I have to assume, like many of you have, established Salesforce or, Microsoft CRM or whatnot. So I think, depending on where you sit in the broker tech or the carrier tech, I think you have your own versions of CRMs. But I guess from a broker tech perspective, I think, they have much more of a vested interest in investing in their own CRM because they cut across carriers. And
Yeah,
then the next
absolutely.
category. Next category is AI and automation. Again, I don't think this is naturally will come as a category, but as we looked into the different players, there are some AI and automation tools that are catering to the broker community. We thought that was worth calling it out. It's not, as you could see on the right, it's not like it has hundreds of them. It's absolutely a brand new category, obviously. But nevertheless, there are a couple players in this space that are leading with like a native AI native, broker tech. So I know a few of them are also AI native carriers. But somewhere between the broker tech and the carrier tech, there is an emergence of this AI tools based players helping the brokers.
Yeah, and I would imagine this eventually will go away as a category because this will just be cross cutting and embedded within whatever tools are there. It's just, I think, a reflection of the times we're in at the moment.
And I think if you zoom in on that Stitch Studio, is an interesting one, and the reason I bring that up is, one of our good sources of information for this research has been the Broker Tech Ventures. So you'll see in the document a reference to that BTV, and that Stitch AI Studio. Some of you might have seen some reference to it in LinkedIn for raising seed dollars. But again, they are coming in with an AI native solution for the broker tech community. Again, we're not endorsing or anything like that, but calling out certain emerging, nuanced players trying to serve this from an innovation perspective. And from there, I guess, maybe we should just touch on the rest of them in the interest of time, real quick. So I think the risk management, risk assessment and analytics, I guess traditional. Some again, we also touched on that from the data perspective, and then agent onboarding and compliance. Samir and I were debating before this. Is that a legacy category, or is that an emerging innovation category? And Samir was highlighting that Agent Sync and a few others in in this segment are innovating, although it is one of the more traditional capabilities that cuts between broker and a carrier because of the onboarding sitting with the carrier more than the broker. Samir, anything to comment? I know you had a reaction to how long it still takes for many carriers to appoint and get the agents running.
I would certainly expect there to be more in this space. As a business process, it's same old, right? Get a recruit an agent, sell them on the brand, and then onboard them, and then start having business come in. But from a experience and process standpoint, there's still a lot to be desired, and there's a wide dispersion in terms of how quickly, how seamlessly different carriers are able to do this or not able to do it. And you
Yeah,
end up with this tension, sometimes unhealthy tension between your at carriers, right? You've got agent recruitment, and they do all the hard work to bring people in, and then they enter the compliance process, and the dread begins that okay, now agent is chomping at the bit to submit something, and well, they're not credentialed and licensed in our system yet, so we're still waiting
right.
for that to happen. Anyway, so I think there's room here, even as processes maybe and role of this has not changed, but the experience definitely leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah. The last three categories are the usual categories of agency management system. I think we've all seen that evolve. There's some new players, as we just discussed, even in the traditional categories. Claims management system, I think that's the bread and butter. Although I have to maybe ask you to chime in here, Samir, with the claims management system, with a lot of these AI, voice AI tools. I see that. I remember talking to a player in this space recently who was innovating with a voice AI to take windshield claims. So very, very niche space, but focused on an AI that will be an intake and then ask all the questions and then pretty much gets the claim submitted with as much of in good order as possible.
Yeah, so I think this is debatable, right? Is this even a broker tech category or not? And I think the one lens to put on it is that for traditional sort of distribution, the first notice of loss is sort of the touch point. After that, it's mostly for the carrier to deal with, but or maybe a TPA, but with the MGA space having a lot of growth the last several years, there's a good number of them that handle claims as well, right? So that
Correct.
brings this back into the broker tech category a little bit,
And
and the systems they will use are a little bit more tailored to the space that they're serving. They won't be general purpose claims management systems.
that's right. That's right. No, I think brokers are also bringing some of these to the carriers' awareness and saying, hey, we feel that leveraging this could reduce the cost of claims operations, whether it's hitting the broker or the carrier, right? And then the last one is really the collaboration and client facing platforms. I don't think there's anything earth shattering there. So maybe we'll just move on to comment quickly on that point I made earlier about we divided this into four categories of segments: life, auto, home, commercial PNC, and then more importantly, at least for the U.S. market, group benefits. And Samir, you have a point of view on how these nuances could shape up the broker tech.
Yeah, I don't know if if there's anything super inventive here, but uh, just the observation that while one dimension is the uh, stage of the insurance value chain where certain players play. But then the other lens is that there's several of them that limit themselves to particular segments because there's just enough complexity in a segment to warrant a deep focus and expertise there. So there's some that cross over, but uh, quite a few that will be within just one space, one segment.
Yeah. And I think the market will also where the explosion of innovation happening will be based on, like, how much the broker executives, tech executives, and carrier tech executives are embracing a particular new player in this broker tech slash insurtech space, right? We thought it would be interesting to just slice it by these segments and keep an eye on it as we produce this report. Let's say we update the Samir every 6 months once, and then see if more innovation happens in one segment versus the other.
Yeah, value of these things for sure is to do them longitudinally, right? To look at them over time as opposed to just a single snapshot. Although for somebody that's looking for something, that snapshot is the most relevant as well. So yeah,
That's
both
right.
both are there, and maybe just here to call out maybe a little bit of the obvious, right? That the density of players and activity uh, obviously mirrors sort of the volume of business as well. So you see quite a bit on personal property casualty, commercial property casualty, group benefits, and then life and annuities. Right, that this waxes and wanes. So right now,
And
you
the
look
other
at
thing
the
is, we could take a global lens to it and slice and dice by regions, but that can get your hair splitting a little bit. As such, we already touched on this, that InsureTech versus BrokerTech itself is, a lot of overlap, but yet fragmented. And
yeah.
then the segments, and then you overlay the global regional nuances. I think it can get really interesting, if I can say that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe with that, we'll wrap up. Hopefully, this report format is new and interesting, and will be valuable to the audience community, primarily the carrier tech. But with this, our intent is to also attract the broker tech executive community. Feel free to share this with anyone who will find it valuable. We'll share a link and we'll post it on our PremiumBytes website as well. And as Samir was saying, I think we'll continue to keep an eye on this longitudinally. We were also debating if it makes sense to actually deep dive into a subsegment and go into a little bit deeper. So if anyone in the audience feels like it's worth doing that, feel free to comment or email or post a response in our LinkedIn or YouTube.
Yeah, probably good enough to leave it at that. Appreciate everybody chiming in with their attention and engaging with the content. Let us know what you like, didn't like, where we can bring more focus. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
And that's a wrap for today's conversation on Premium Bytes, where we shine a light on the unsung world of insurance technology leaders. Thank you for joining us on this adventure and being part of our community. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and follow us. Until next time, take care.